Okay, hi, my name's Stu. I'm a gold panner based in Queenstown. I'm also a competition panner and I compete in competitions throughout the world for gold panning. So today we're talking about gold and how you actually get the gold out of the water and in the gravel. How do you get out of the gravel at the river? So what we know is that gold is 19.2 times heavier than water. We know the black sand that the gold sits in is 11 times heavier than water. And we know that the gravel that's on the top of all of that, the overburden, is 2.4 times heavier than water. So when you start working a pan, when you work the pan, the gold will always go to the bottom if you work it properly. Is the pan, the black pan that we have. On the pan there are riffles. The riffles are designed to trap the gold. So when you get rid of your overburden of the light gravel, the gravel that's 2.4 times heavier, and you're using the water to wash that away, you are left with black sand. And we know that the gold should be in the black sand somewhere, hopefully at the bottom. So by just tapping the side of the pan like this, you're jolting the gold to the bottom, and then you tip the pan back, and then you start to jiggle it just backwards and forwards, and you bring that black sand down grain by grain. As that's coming down, the gold will appear. Do not expect to see it straight away. The gold will be right in the bottom of that black sand. And so you can see lots of black sand coming down, but we should, in the very short-term future, see some gold. And what I can see is over here a very, very tiny flake away over there. He's just a small one. Yeah, coming in. Yeah. That's a very small flake. We'll see if we can find some more. So just by jiggling that down, getting rid of that black sand, grain by grain, the gold will start to appear. And you have to have a truckload of patience to do this. It's a little bit like fishing. And here we have a nice wee piece of gold coming down there. So I'm not sure if we can focus in on that one. Okay. So what we'll do with that one is we'll put our finger on top of it. We'll draw it across to the side over here. When I find him again, here he is, he's away up there. And now I'm going to demonstrate how to get the gold out of the black. Right, so the next thing we're going to do is take the gold out of the pan. And to do that, you have to have a bottle with water in it. It doesn't have to be totally full. But what you have to do is you get your finger and you dry your finger on your shirt. And then you wipe your finger behind your ear. Just up in here, you'll find a wee waxy spot. A wee greasy spot that's there. Everybody's got it. It isn't because you didn't wash behind your ears this morning. So you take that and you place that finger very firmly on top of that bit of gold. You do not look at the bit of gold. You put it in the bottle and you shake the bottle up and down, and you will find, put the top on quickly so you don't lose it. You then put your finger back in the water just to make sure it's not still stuck to your finger. And if you have a look in the bottom of that bottle now, you'll see there's a wee piece of gold there. So one of the things that can happen with gold is that it can float. And we know that it's 19 times heavier than water. We know it should sink to the bottom, but nobody's told the gold that's what it's got to do. But when it gets onto the surface tension of the water, when it starts to touch the top, it gets into the viscosity. And I was told once that's why ducks float. But anyway, I think it's the feathers that hold the ducks on the top of the water. But it gets onto that viscosity of the water. The surface tension will hold it, especially small pieces like that. To get them to go down, you just touch them with your finger and they will just pop back down to the bottom again. When you're picking up that gold, you sometimes will pick up the black sand with it and put it in the bottle. That's not a problem. What you do is when you get it away from the pan, that you take that, and this is something you can do in your science class, you take your water, you tip it onto a saucer, a little bowl, tip it onto a saucer or a bowl, leave it in the sun, and I know you get some sun in Auckland sometimes, so you can leave that in the window. When it's evaporated, then you come back to it with a magnet. The sand has to be completely dry, and you run a magnet over the top because the sand, black sand, is iron sand, so it's magnetized, and it will take the iron sand away from the gold, leaving the gold behind, for you to put it back in the bottle by the same process I showed you. So the next thing you need to know is that Gold, although it's a metal, is also a crystal. This is the scientific version of how gold is formed. So when this quartz rock, predominantly quartz rock, is coming out of the ground under tremendous heat and pressure, the gold crystals will form when the quartz rock bends, and the gold crystals form on the underside of the quartz rock, and over millions of years it will start to grow. So what you can see on this piece is the gold all through the quartz rock and actually coming through on the edge there. So that proves the theory that gold is a crystal and it is also a metal. There's nothing else on earth that is actually like that.